What's going on, everybody, man? It is time for another Church Nerds episode. I got the crew on with me. We got Norman Yee, Father Dre, Pastor B, Gabe Jordan, Batman's cousin. He wants to keep his identity a secret. Darrell said he'll log in as soon as he can. We are the Church Nerds. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to our Church Nerd pages. Be a part of the Church Nerd congregation. Be a certified Church Nerd. And we want to say Happy Father's Day. This is our Father's Day episode. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. If you're doing your job, then you can claim to be a father. And we got two special guests on with us, man, all the way down in Alabama. We got Bishop Jonathan Pulliam is with us today. And from the great state of Wisconsin, we got my father, Bishop Jerry Baldwin Jr. Bishops, welcome.
Hey, welcome. You got to come correct. It's diocesan bishop.
I'm sorry, diocesan bishop. Jerry Baldwin.
Congratulations.
Get him right.
It's been a year since you've been officially installed, but congratulations.
You late.
Has it? Hey, I'm just waking up. How long? How long has it been since you've been officially installed? Because I did see last year.
It's been at least 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
That I take over from Bishop Moore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Awesome. Bishop Pulliam, how about you?
How long have I been diocesan bishop?
Yes, sir.
Since 2016.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've been asleep a long time.
That
nap was good. That nap was good, man.
It's high time to wake out of sleep, Lord.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Batman's cousin, this is Elder Brandon Travis, the Illinois State Youth President.
Yes,
My bad.
As they say, I guess you came dripped out tonight. Is that what they say?
Oh, always, Bishop. You got to represent the one true one. The one wonder.
Yes,
the hero that ever was, ever will be, ever lived. He's just
okay. Wait, I don't see Jesus anywhere on your jacket.
because Jesus is not imaginary. He's real. Come on, somebody.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I forgot I was talking to I is your president. I apologize.
Man,
even though he can't get nobody from his council to show up on this show.
We thank everyone for being on. Listen, everyone in the live chat, man, we want you to shout out your fathers, man. Shout out your uncles, godfathers. Shout out to all the men that were father figures in your life, man. Shout out to all of them. Knowing me, I had great men in my life, men of God. I call Bishop Pulliam my uncle because him and my father go way back. So happy Father's Day to all of the bishops, pastors, spiritual leaders, all out there. But since we got the bishops on, one thing we gotta ask Bishop Baldwin and Bishop Pulliam, whenever we have a guest on the show, we gotta ask them what makes them a church nerd. What makes them nerd? Okay, so Bishop Pulliam, man, what is something that you are nerdy about? We gotta ask. This is an official play. We always gotta ask whenever someone comes on. What is something that is nerdy? It could be when you were growing up. You got a favorite cartoon, book, whatever. What is something that makes you a nerd?
Growing up, everybody thought I was nerd square just because I lived at church. I lived at church. I could sleep at the church, and so I was always called the nerd, the square, because even in church circles, because I just didn't do what everybody else. I was trying to really be saved, I was trying. But growing up, they called me nerd or square all the time just because I went to church all the time.
Bishop Baldwin?
Yeah, I probably was a genuine nerd. I told you I was into all the comic book heroes. I was like Bishop Pulliam. I was in church all the time, but I was kind of a geek. I like to know how stuff worked, taking things apart and trying to understand, how come this works this way. And by education, I became an engineer. A real pocket protector. So that's kind of my thing. I like puzzles. I play Sudoku for fun. So I relax playing Sudoku. So I play logic games. So
I still can't play that game. So
Sudoku is tragic.
No, it's good.
Hey, he plays it all the time. I've seen him, man.
My mind get twisted playing Sudoku.
No, you got it's logic. It's logic. You got
there's a logical pattern to every single board.
Yep,
you can do it.
Okay, so in regards to things that are logical but think don't make sense, Gabe, why is your mug so big, man?
And it said take naps. He said take naps. You see,
protect, attack, take naps.
Is that Goku?
No, Grogu, yeah.
No, this is Grogu. Yeah,
Grogu.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, y'all, Baby Grogu, as some people know him as Baby Yoda, that's from the Mandalorian series. Some people didn't know. All right, that lets you know my father is a Star Wars nerd because he's the one that got me and my sister hooked on Star Wars. So, that's one thing we loved growing up. My parents, they always watch stuff with us when they rather be like Disney or some type of movie. Game of Thrones was huge. We talked about Game of Thrones in the Baldwin household. We're not going to include season 8. Season 8 was just a bust, but but we had fun growing up, man. It was
that's premiering tonight, ain't it?
Saints watch Game of Thrones. I'm just.
Well, man,
this is church nerds.
All
church
nerds, right, Bishop?
Okay.
Hey, Bishop. A lot of people still don't understand why my parents let us watch Harry Potter. Some folks was like, them was witchcraft they was watching. But my parents let us watch.
I said, if you can't watch Harry Potter, don't read Revelation.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The other thing though is, as parents, you have to make sure your kids understand the world of make believe, and also make sure they understand the real world of occult, and magnifying the devil. So.
And you have to. I mean, I watched all that with my. I didn't. Now my kids, my son read the books. I watched the movies and.
We was with them though. Yeah, we were with them and making sure we could.
Yeah, I'm watching it with them. Yeah.
100%.
It was a good time, but today we got a real good episode, man. We're gonna be talking about fathers, fatherhood, even spiritual fathers. Because it's the last of a dying breed. Fatherhood isn't promoted and pushed like it once was. You see a lot of single mother households, or they got the how can I say this? The independent agenda. Don't need no man. This and that. Yeah, okay. Dre will say it out there. Yeah, the feminists believe there's no man can control me and everything. But fatherhood is important, man. It's a big thing. But the first question I want to ask, Brian gone?
He'll be back.
But the first question that I want to ask to all the nerds and the bishops, man, what's your favorite thing about being a father? What's your favorite thing about being a dad? Bishop Baldwin, you want to go first, and we'll go around. What's your favorite thing about being a father?
I enjoyed having a family. I think that God put something within men to want to have a family, to want to have something that's part of your legacy. My message this morning for Father's Day was the imaging of the father. And every father is looking for his offspring. He's looking for something in them, whether it's an eye color, whether it's a nose, whether it's some characteristics. And so I enjoyed being a father. I enjoyed, obviously it's helpful when you got a good wife that's working with you. But I enjoyed the challenge of being a father and grooming my children, raising them up. I like to see them grow. I like them to see what kind of person they're going to become. Encouraging them, seeing them being successful and succeeding, overcoming obstacles, and actually, again, being with God. I didn't say Jordan was my favorite either. So, but enjoy, because each one of them are unique. Each one of them are different, and I embrace.
He's being very diplomatic right about that. He's being very.
Hey, that's what every parent say, but they know the truth.
When Jackie and Jordan were playing basketball, first started playing basketball, they played on opposite teams, and every year they were in the championship against each other.
Oh man!
So I couldn't choose blue for a Jordan's team. I couldn't choose red for Jackie's team. So I just stood in the middle.
What jersey did you wear?
I didn't wear no jersey.
You didn't wear a jersey.
It don't matter.
Hey, Bishop said he came with his clergy attire.
No. But I was like Solomon. I'm splitting the baby.
So it don't matter. It don't matter. A Baldwin gonna win tonight. That's all.
That's it. And we were champion 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Wow.
My team and how I made Jordan frustrated with that defense. Lord have mercy. Y'all, just so y'all know, my sisters are gonna be talking to each other probably through this entire show. Then they're gonna call each other after the show, talking trash. So my dad gonna have to be the mediator again afterwards. Bishop Pulliam, man, what's your favorite thing about being a dad?
I think my favorite thing about being a father is as just like Bishop Baldwin, I almost said Jerry, just like you said, watching your children grow and become, because this world is so crazy and so many things are thrown at them, but to watch them make right choices, watch them fail, get back up, and then become the best person that they can become. And then to turn around and hear them say thank you.
Right.
Joshua, Jonathan, and Carla have. I tell anybody they have my heart. They have taught me so much. A lot of times, and I say this to any father: your children will teach you more than you realize. And a lot of times you think you're being the teacher, but the truth is, I learned a lot from my children. I mean, as they're growing, you don't know. You don't know. Sometimes you don't know what to do, how to do it. But I think my favorite thing is watching them become what they can become, and I appreciate the Lord for all that He's done with them. So
that's awesome. Dre, you the newest dad of the Nerds. Well, what's your favorite thing about being a new dad, man?
I must say it's probably the most generic quality, but just watching them grow, watching Bella grow every day and kind of see her development. It's pretty amazing, man. Kind of seeing her develop like either her mom or myself, which nobody's ready for another R&B, of course, but I'm gonna try to keep on the up and up with her mom. It's just beautiful, man. I love to see it every day, honestly. Yeah, it's just watching them grow up, develop, and seeing what they will become. Based off what you teach them, and what quality you give them. Of course, God being that first quality, it's definitely something I look forward to.
I love it. Elder Travis.
Probably, and I guess I'll be a little churchy, but probably, but it's real though. Probably
in Batman, he gonna be churchy. Okay.
I don't know about Batman. He was out there witnessing on the street. Stop your evil ways. Come on into
the Bible says if you lay hand on the sick, they will recover, right?
That's what he said. That's what Batman was doing.
He laid a lot of hands. So, but probably one of the best things I could probably think of is the power to create, and pretty much along the lines that the bishops were saying. Even Dre, like you created, these children, these vessels, these people, and it's like when they come, you're happy for that moment you see them, but then it's like, oh, I got a responsibility, and now I kind of see how God feels when He births us or allows us to come. We are His responsibility to keep us, to guide us, to lead us. And then in that same venture, we do the same with our children. And just to know that I have the responsibility to make sure they know who God is and they grow up to be productive citizens in the world as well as the kingdom. But just the power to create, like me and my wife came together, we created that, that seed. So that's just amazing in itself. So
and Brandon, you couldn't deny them 3 if you tried.
No, Bishop.
No, hey, those your children.
Those are yours, my children. As Bernie Mac said in life, I's the pappy. So,
Norm, what's your favorite thing, man?
You know what? I got so many things have been said that I would say. So, I mean, I would take a different tack. My kids showed me the crazy things that I say that I don't realize I say. Because they always say, you never know who's listening to you. And one day my son came, he had said something. It was like, I'm like, where did he learn that? Oh, I said that. Maybe I shouldn't say that much. Again, it wasn't like horrible, but it was like, huh. So
in other words, Norman's kids cuss now, I guess.
Well, I mean,
hey, come
and
on,
everything.
Bro. Let's get it together.
His mom's the pastor, not him. His mom.
That's funny. That's hilarious. But I mean, if anything, it helped change my mindset. If anything else, because having children. Having somebody that's responsible, that you're responsible for, that can't take care of themselves, that you have to take care of, it changes how you act, it changes how you operate, it changes how you move. Like when I was younger and I would be at the church all hours of the night, I can't do that because I have to be home with them, because the hours I spend at church, I'm missing at home with them. So you always have to change that step. So I think if anything, that is what I love. It helps kind of make me a better version of me.
That's real good. Gabe?
I just love having the opportunity to love my girls. And I think the biggest thing that has happened to me since I've had kids is I think I love the fact that I'm learning something new every day. And not even just about them, but also about our Savior as well. I think one of the biggest things I've learned is how much God is when it comes to being intentional and reflecting who he is with his creation. I think being a father that loves his girls on a very micro level is almost a reflection of how our Creator loves us, right? When I look at my girls, no matter how much they, I love them, but every day isn't a good day, right? One day they might try to steal some cookies out the cookie jar, and I might have to correct them. But that doesn't stop me from loving them
right
the way they should. And when I see that, I also see a reflection of how we are with our Savior.
Shout out to all the girl dads out there too.
Is it tough? Just graduated.
Right. Oh, yeah. He went all deep. He had to go deeper than Brandon. Man. He had to go deeper than Brandon.
It's always a competition. I don't know why.
Shout out
that was that sleepy brain, y'all. That was.
That's all right, Gabe. I'll give you my autograph. It's okay.
Pastor B, we don't let you go, but I know it's hard for a lot of girl dads to discipline their girls.
Not me.
I don't think
I have no problem.
I don't think.
What's your favorite thing about being a father, Pastor B? And
y'all been all deep and sappy and sentimental. It's been really touching my heart. It's been wonderful. My favorite part about being a dad is bedtime.
Hey, Brian, you are
with you.
Is it bedtime yet? Bedtime. Everybody, time for bed. We have a bedtime routine. It's amazing. It's like everybody's going to bed. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, dog.
My God.
Seriously though, it is bedtime. But second to bedtime, it is everything y'all said. I feel like you know, I feel like I have this, first of all, responsibility to shape these young lives in a way that they are able to sustain beyond me at someday. Because I mean, ultimately, that is the goal. I think Gabe mentioned that it's sort of a reflection of how Christ cares for us. But at the end of the day, you know, Christ's goal is that we are able to learn of his word and then be disciples of his word and be able to stand on our own beyond, you know, needing him every day, right? And so the hope is that we're able to do that with our children, where they are able to learn of us, not learn our curse words, Norm. Wow.
Okay, we gotta get them cursing.
We gonna
No, they're not gonna let you live that down.
We're gonna have to call Bishop Gates.
We got a conversation. We're gonna have it this weekend.
Please don't call. I just got out the doghouse. I need y'all to.
We gonna have to call him. I just saw him what day? Friday night. I'm gonna have to talk to him.
That's wonderful. For me, are you still going, Pastor B? You got any more? Obviously, you said discipline your girls is easy.
No, that's my favorite part about being a pastor. Yeah.
What?
He said father.
He said father.
He whooping the saints. Lord have mercy.
He's sleeping.
Brian said, "I love putting the Saints on
I
silent."
said, I love it.
Next time.
I love putting the Saints to bed.
Time out.
And he been a pastor 2 weeks.
Y'all don't get it. Naps help. I mean, listen, if more people would take naps, we'll have a happier world.
Oh man, that's good, and congratulations to you again, Pastor B. You weren't on last week because you was being officially installed. Congratulations on officially being installed as pastor of Soul Anchor Apostolic Church. Wonderful, wonderful.
Y'all take note of his hair right now. It's black. It'll be great.
Mark time. We'll see what it look like next week.
I would say, go ahead, Bishop.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, being a father is, I agree with what everybody said. It's the responsibility. Now you have a miniature you. You know, some of your personality is in this offspring of yours. Now I see why my father was so frustrated with me when it came to dinner, because if I didn't like something, I was gonna be picky. Now my son, Levi, he's just as picky. If he don't like food, he's not gonna eat it. So it's the patience. You know, I find myself acting like my mom. Just eat the food. but my favorite is definitely my favorite part. Learning while we go. You know, it's definitely one of my favorite things. Watching them develop. One day he may not know how to do something. The next day, all of a sudden he knows how to do it. You know, it's definitely an amazing thing. Just the development. And for anybody that don't listen, being a dad is the best job in the world. I don't care what anybody say. Being a father is awesome. You know, shout out to all the men that's doing their job, because being a dad is awesome. Taking care of their business. It's definitely one of the best things.
Excuse me, Jed. Apparently your sister is saying you were the problem child.
Yes, apparently.
Can we confirm this, Bishop Baldwin?
I don't disagree.
No comment. No comment.
Bishop Baldwin being very diplomatic tonight.
He doesn't have to comment. I'll comment for him on behalf of Bishop Baldwin. Yes.
Hold on, Nora. Put my wife's comment up. This is something I got from my father. So the story is.
Whoa! What did you say?
Wait a minute.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with
like
you.
father, like son. So the story is.
Hey, Bishop about to pull rank in a minute.
Come talk to me backstage.
We're about to mute the moderator.
I just some things I just got from my dad. My mom, God rest her soul. She just the older I got, she said, "You starting to act just like your father." Over, and then my grandmother said I got little bits of my grandfather. So it just goes down the line. You get something from your father. It's the watching. Like Norm said, your kid, someone's always watching you, and your kids are definitely always watching you. They watch what you say, they watch how you respond. They watch how you treat their mother, your wife. That's the most important thing. And I believe that the reason why some of these young men coming up, they don't know how to treat women is because maybe they didn't have no father figure in the household, or maybe the dad mistreated the wife, or what. So that's the most important thing, is someone's always watching you, and that's the most important thing, man. Someone's always watching you. So that kind of goes into the next question that I have. The importance of fathers, the importance of fatherhood. Why does Brian keep going in and out? Jesus, is he losing internet connection?
I don't know.
No, he's continuously falling asleep.
But Bishop Baldwin, can you elaborate? What's the importance of fatherhood? Why is fatherhood so important when it comes to both young men and young women growing up in a household?
What we have to realize, and again, I shared it this morning, is that fathers are supposed to be in the image of God. He's the ultimate father, and fathers have been enabled by God. I know we say that the women create life. I know we say that, but the Bible says the seed is where the life is, and the seed comes from the man. And so then you're required to nurture it, protect it, provide for it. And just as God guides us, and he gives us an illustration of guiding the children of Israel, he gives us the ability to come boldly to him. And I think the success as a father is when your children have the freedom to come boldly to you and ask what their need is without shame, without reservation. And sometimes our kids ask us some stuff that's a little bit crazy, but if you step back and say, well, I generated that mindset, I generated certain things within them. My oldest daughter, Jerice, she was born with cerebral palsy, and so she's handicapped. And I was away in Texas at Bishop Edwards Church, and I got a call from a social worker, and says that she wants to move out the house. I mean, where's she going? What is the problem? Who she thinks she's gonna live with? And I was fuming. I was hot. And the lady said, well, if she was a normal 22-year-old, if they wanted to move out, you wouldn't be able to stop them, would you? I thought about that. So no, that's true. So I still had some issues with it. And finally, my good friend, Bishop Harry Wilson in Chicago, I was ranting and raving at him one day in his office, and I'm supposed to preach for him. And he looked at me real calm, a little bit like Norm is looking right now. When I got done, he said, well, what you want to do, Jerry? That's how you raised them. You raised them to be self-sufficient. And so, as he said, them words come back at you a little bit, and that's what you really want to see. You want your kids to be self-reliant, and while you want to guide them and protect them all the time, at some point there's a time that you have to let them step out and be on their own. And it's a frightening thing when you're a father for that to happen, because you want the best for your children at all times, but at some point you have to know that it's time to let go. And when that is, it's different for different children, but ultimately they got to fly the coop.
Yeah. Bishop Pulliam?
The importance of a father. I was sitting here listening to Jerry Bishop Baldwin, but the importance of a father, and I just want to say this: you have to be more than just there. And I heard this coming up. Just be there. No,
No,
you you can be present and absent at the same time.
Amen.
As a father, you can be in the house but absent from their lives. You can't do that. And a lot of, and I think it's intentional. I think it's intentional. The enemy attacks men, attacks fathers, and we have such a disparage in fathers being in the house, and especially in African American homes. And we can trace it back to slavery. We can trace it back to whatever we want to do, but you have to be more than just in the house.
Yeah.
You have to the Bible, there's a scripture that says train them up in the way that they should go. I was listening to Jeremy Jay, and he said you got a mini me. That can be a problem because you want them to be what God called them to be. And so you have to be more than in the house. As a father, you have to be in their lives. You have to be now true. I when my boys were in elementary school, I still don't know how I did this. I ended up being the PTO president.
Jesus,
that was a saved PTO. It was anointed.
Ended up being the PTO president. And just because I wanted to be a part of their lives. And when they ran cross country, I was running cross country with them. I was, when they singing in the chorus at school, I'm sitting there, busting them to drama practice and all the kids with you. You can't just be in the house. The importance of a father, they need to know your voice, and they need to hear it when they're absent.
Yeah,
they need to know your. They need to know your voice so much that when you're not there, they still know their daddy's voice. And you can't just. And I never forget one situation years ago. This happened with my oldest son. I had an upper room, y'all. I go upstairs and pray, and my sons were across the hall, and my oldest son jumped out of his crib and jumped on my back while I was praying. He wanted a horsey ride, so I put him in his crib. After about the third time, I couldn't pray no more because I was getting mad at him. I'm getting frustrated. But I believe I heard the Lord say, sit him there and let him hear you pray, and play with him after. So I sat him next to me. I said, Josh, sit here. And he sat there. I thought he was going to jump on. He sat there. I prayed. But then after a while, it got in him. So you have to be more than present. And as they grow, that relationship changes from being, now they're in their late 20s, and our relationship is different. I still have to be more than just there. I think sometimes they need us more now than they did when we were younger.
Bishop, that was.
listen, if I could add to what Bishop Pulliam was saying, and as a father, one of the greatest things is when your children come back and tell you what that means to you.
Yes.
About you being more than just there.
Yes.
Now, again, I go back to I've never seen a one-winged bird fly. And so you need both the mother and the father.
Absolutely.
And my wife told me at one point, I'm traveling all over the country, I'm engineering, blah, blah, blah. And I would be missing some of their activities. And she finally told me, she said, Jerry, the kids need to see you at the school function.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, I'm working. I'm trying to make sure they have a house, your roof over their head, and clothes and food to eat. She said, but they need to see you.
Yes.
So I made it in my mind to do that, just as Bishop Pulliam is saying. And when my girls was playing basketball, and I worked in another state, so it took me 30-40 minutes to get home. but I would leave a little bit early, get there, and just so they would know that I was there, if one of them was shooting a free throw, I would yell in the gym, and what I would yell is legs, and I had taught them how to shoot free throws using their legs, and they wouldn't even turn around, and their teammates would say, "Who is that yelling?" And they would say, "That's just my dad." They knew that I was there. And there was a couple occasions I would come to school plays and I'd come in late and they didn't know that I was there. And they say, "Daddy, you didn't show up. You didn't come to our thing." I said, "I was there." They said, "You were?" I said, "You did this. This person said this. They say, "You was there. You was there." So to what Bishop Pulliam is saying, that's part of being a dad, is more than just being in the house. You got to be involved in them and share with them and be really a part of molding their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
That's one of the best things. Like my father said, being at our school functions, because we were all in sports, and sometimes, obviously some of us would have games on the same day, but he could, but we knew that either he was there or my mom would tell him, but it was a huge deal when he was there. I remember my sister's basketball games. The girls will, I think they're watching still, they get irritated whenever they hear dad say legs, during a free throw, but when we all got older, it was all appreciative. My senior year, my father, our state championship game for football, we went undefeated, and the championship game landed on a Wednesday.
Where's the ring, Jay? Where's the ring? Where's the ring, Jay? Where's the ring?
Hold on. You see it?
Where's the ring? All
right. You see it? 14-0, baby. The game landed on a Wednesday, and that's Bible class night. And some of us that grew up old school, there was nothing, you was supposed to have nothing on no church night on Bible class. But I remember my dad. He said, "No, I'm coming to the game." He said, "One of the other elders, they're going to teach Bible class." He said, "This is an important game, not just for the school that he graduated from, for the city of Kenosha, but important for you as my son. Going to a championship game, everybody don't do that in high school, So he was there. He was excited. Now, obviously, Darrell's not on, but my mom was a huge football fan. I could hear her from the stands, but I know my dad was watching right next to her and everything. But that's one of the biggest impacts, is that he took time off, knowing that he's a pastor, but he was a father first.
And Bishop Pulliam, watch this. You said they got to know your voice.
Yes, sir.
Jay, Mufasa.
Say it again.
Mufasa.
Hey, y'all. So everybody knows Lion King is my favorite movie of all time.
Oh man.
My father, he'll come in. He said Mufasa, and rock the whole house. And when Jackie, Jackie's still quick-witted and smart mouth now. She said, "But Mufasa died." But I told her, but he still had impact through that whole movie, though. So
right.
It didn't mean anything. But that's one of the best things, Have you guys?
That's a family joke that we have.
Family joke, yeah.
When they would get in trouble, their mom would say, "I need some bass," and I go in and say, "Mufasa." That means everybody calm down.
That's all right.
So Bishop Pulliam, I got a
Yes,
question, and then Bishop Baldwin, if you could answer it as well. How, because you guys did a wonderful job explaining like what a father does, like what is a father and how the father has to be present. What does someone do when they desire to be a father, but they did not necessarily, they're not like us, they did not have that model or that manuscript to come from?
You know what? That is a great question. That's a great question, because sometimes you grow up and you think your house is normal, and you think that's what everybody else has, and you realize this is not normal. You have to, and I was getting ready to say something earlier. You have to connect yourself with people. one of the things I did, actually, the year my second son was born, the year Jonathan was born, I volunteered for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And this young man, his father he didn't really know his father well, and he's still connected to my family today. He's a father. He's married. I married him. And so you have to, if you don't have that person in your life, find somebody that can become that person in your life. And if you if you are a good father and you see somebody, become that for somebody else. Become a mentor for somebody else. Because if you've changed their life, you're not just changing their life, you're affecting everybody they're connected to. And so, and sometimes you think, well, I'll just, take this one person or whatever. But if you can change that one person or affect that one person's life, you're affecting how they raise their children. You're affecting how they treat women. You're affecting, you're changing a generation. And then that generation is going to learn just because if this person say, and it's, we all on this call and everybody's listening know somebody that grew up without a father in the household. But you connect yourself with somebody that you can learn from. You have to do it. You have to do it.
And I think that's so pivotal, Bishop, because the truth of the matter is we're living in a society, whether it be it by media, TV, whatever, that is continuously pushing the father out the picture. Whether it be even the government, like there are certain things, if you're low income, certain benefits that you just cannot have unless the father is absent or not in the picture.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing because you have, like you said, you have people who want to be fathers, but because of the society we live in, and not just putting blame on, society, some of the choices at large are because of us, but because of that, you have people who are wanting to be fathers, but they just don't know how. And I think what you said, Bishop, is so true. The importance of finding a mentor is pivotal, a godly mentor, for
Absolutely.
sure.
I'm going to be honest. I grew up, my father's in the house. I'm the youngest male of I got 4 older brothers. And when I had my oldest son, Josh, I did not know how to be a father. Let's just be honest about it. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. I think Brandon said it. I got to be responsible for this life. And so you can grow up in a home with a father, and still it's the most challenging thing to be a father. So you have to find somebody that you can mentor. The Bible talks about behold the upright, mark the perfect man. Find somebody that can train you and help you through challenges.
Yeah. Bishop Baldwin, did you want to add to that? That's beautiful.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly subscribe to what Bishop Pulliam is saying. The other thing is that historically, men socialize different than women do, and men that's why fraternities are so important, because we learn behaviors together. We reinforce those behaviors. What is it to be a man? What is it to be manly? And so Bishop Puddin talked about finding some mentors. I submit to you young brothers that you all are mentors even right now.
Absolutely.
Because in the church, or in society as a whole, not just in the church, but in society as a whole, there are so many that don't have a father. And if you can show them the characteristics of a father, you will impact them in such a great way. And I'm sure that Pastor Evans, Bishop, and myself, we have people that look at us as fathers, and we didn't necessarily intend for them to look at us as fathers, but we carried ourselves in that manner, and they gravitated to it. They gravitated because they needed it. Whether it was a young man, whether even young ladies, they needed that. And if you embrace that what God has put into you, as He said, you will affect not just them but the people around them. You will affect another generation for the positive. For what you've done. I used to get mad when people come over to my house or to my father and they said, calling him dad. Dad. That ain't your dad.
Yes, no,
But
it's not.
but they needed it. And when I matured, it didn't bother me as much because they looked at him as their father, and they took his advice. Some of them, you know.
I think that's one of the toughest things about being a PK, Bishop, is having to share your father with others who aren't in the household. You know, that I think that's one of the toughest things. You know, because us as PKs, we know the backstories of things being done and stuff. So that's one of the toughest things is having to share your.
But the father has to be careful about that because he cannot neglect his own children.
Right.
He has to help them understand the value of helping other people, but he cannot neglect his own children. That's a balance there.
Yeah, can I jump on that for a minute? Just
go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead.
Because we got some young pastors on here and some that want to be pastors, and some that may be one day. I'll never forget going to the airport. Tracy was taking me to the airport and then going to drop Carla off at school. And Carla says, "Hey, Dad." She said, "I love you." She said one thing to me. She said, "You're going to the airport too much. I'll see you later." And I said, "Oh, Jesus." I thought about I thought about, she said, "Daddy, you're going to the airport too much."
Too much.
And I thought about that whole flight, the whole time I was gone. That was the last thing she said to me. I've never forgotten that.
Wow.
And I've never forgotten that. That was hard. But I'll say this to you. The church is God's bride. It's not your bride.
Amen.
It's not your bride. He's holding you accountable for your family.
Wow.
Woo.
That's good.
Say it again, Bishop.
And so he's holding us accountable for our family.
Wow.
And we grew up with a culture that really, if we looked at it sometime, was detrimental to many of pastors' families, because we created a culture that put him in the middle of their family and the church family, not fully understanding that the church is God's bride, and he's holding me responsible for my family, and he's responsible for his. And so I think that we've got to understand that.
That's good.
This morning's
go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
This morning's Sunday school lesson was deep. Talking about empowered servants.
My wife had a question too earlier.
Yes, I want to get back to that question too. But to the point of Bishop Pulliam, that scripture text talked about in Romans 15, that scripture text talked about the importance of us realizing that at the end of the day, we are only servants to the extent of what God has empowered us. And sometimes we try to be more than what it is that God has empowered us to be. We want to be, daddy to the whole church, and you're gonna wear yourself out. Then you're gonna need somebody to strengthen you. You which are weak, you ain't gonna be able to bear nobody else's infirmities if you know good for yourself. And so I think Bishop Pulliam makes a very good point that we have to be very careful, and Bishop Baldwin as well, that we have to be very careful not to overextend ourselves. And I'm sort of preaching to the choir because I'm definitely talking to a group of brothers that can be difficult at times to figure out where that balance is. Like, where is that line where you aren't, running yourself so ragged to where when you get home you have nothing left. And so that kind of delicate balance is something that we have to learn as fathers and as men.
Yeah, well, my wife helped me find that line one day.
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I never forgot it.
I'm sure.
Never forgot it. See, I came
Well.
to the house and I was done. I was done, man. She looked at me. She said, "Norman, I need you to live. So you got to figure this out." And I said, "Whoo."
The wise will get you together.
I quickly figured that out.
Live.
I was still still me and her. But even I think now I'm glad she said it then, because had she said it with kids, who knows how crazy it would have been. So she really got me together. But I did want to go back to Jade's question.
Yes, very, very,
really, really good question. Can a man be a friend to another man if they know they don't want to be a father to their kids? We're gonna have the bishops.
I would say this, just as I said that men learn from other men in the fraternity. If you don't comport yourself to the fraternity, we have ways of letting you know that you're not where you're supposed to be. We don't have to be cruel with it. We don't have to be, but we let you know that, look, you're not following through with what you're supposed to be. And it is cruel to have a friend that you know is not coming up to the measure they're supposed to be, and it's important to you. I'm not going to be a friend to a wife beater or a child abuser.
Right.
That's not acceptable. And if you're not wanting to be a father to your children, and I hope you understand what I mean by that. He doesn't want to put the time in, doesn't want to be there and available for them.
Yeah.
Then if you're trying to be a friend to me, I'm gonna have to put that bug in your ear and say, man, what's going on? What gives? This you don't treat your children that way. You don't treat your wife that way, because in this fraternity that I am, the brethren that I run with, we don't do stuff like that.
And it's that big word, accountability, that a lot of people are afraid of. But at the end of the day, we have to hold one another accountable to what's right. And, when you just talk about friendship, to Jade's question specifically talking about friendship, I think we have to start by defining that term friend, because I think oftentimes we just throw, I was even talking to my son the other day, there's a whole bunch of kids on this block that we live on, and he's constantly coming home, Daddy, I got a new friend. Daddy, I got a new friend. Daddy, I got a new friend. At some point I said, whoa, son, all these people ain't your friends.
Right.
Everybody can't be your friend. We need to let's have a conversation and define what it means for someone to be a friend first.
Now I'm gonna be honest.
Take yourself some hurt.
I don't. We can't be friends if we can't correct one another.
Right.
Right.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
If you get an attitude when I'm genuinely trying to say, hey, what's going on here, then we're not friends.
We're not friends. We're not
friends.
I lost a lot of friends being up front would have been real.
I can't believe that, Drake.
Going on, Simeon.
Look, my father taught me how to be authentic.
Yeah.
So,
that is true. I mean, one of the lessons I learned from my uncle, he said, everybody that's smiling in your face ain't your friend. So that's an important lesson, that stuck with me to this day. Yeah. Everybody that's smiling in your face ain't your friend. So,
and everybody who call you friend ain't your friend.
Ain't your friend.
The Bible says folks gonna say, Lord, Lord. He gonna say,
Lord, Lord, who are you?
I've learned.
Hey, he gonna be like Thanos in that one scene with the Scarlet Witch.
I don't even know who you are.
Exactly.
You see Jade's comment about are you loyal to the friend or loyal to the principles?
Yeah.
Principles and values never change.
That's true.
Right.
Principles and values never change. And if you are able to change your values and your principles that quickly, then I suspect you don't have any friends anyway.
Say it, Bishop.
Wow.
And your friends ought to share your values and principles. Because if they don't, they ain't your friends.
They ain't your friends. And I'm gonna be honest, you have to be careful when somebody wants you to change your value just to hang around them.
Yeah. Say it again, Bishop.
If they want you to change your values and principles just to be in their life, you need to check who you hanging with.
Yes, sir.
I know this is church nerd, but he said if a person walks disorderly, do what? Withdraw yourself.
Withdraw yourself. And you have to have the strength. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes the right one won't show up till you let go of the wrong one.
My Lord, got to be folk around you. And the folk who really supposed to be around you can't get to you because you got all these folks around you.
Because you all got these fuckers.
Hey, that goes
it's y'all fault for getting preachers on here now.
Pulliam, do you have any? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, do you have any examples without sharing names of a time where you had to?
See, Gabe always trying to get
always you do this every Bishop, you do this every
always trying to get the bishops in trouble.
Listen,
I'm trying to get people to relate to the audience. I like that.
Go ahead, Bishop.
I'm gonna be honest. If you can't be real, you can't help me.
Yeah.
And I've learned you have to be real. And if I'm going to help anybody, and so to Gabe's question, do I have examples? We don't have enough time on this. I can give you examples of people in church that y'all know me. I'm a praiser. Y'all know me. I've had people we hang out with. Now I'm gonna give you a situation. I'm gonna give y'all a real situation.
There we go.
We at the Holy Convocation.
Jesus. Here we go. Let me get ready.
I'm gonna give you a real situation.
Not in Chicago.
No. We at the Holy Convocation in Jackson, Mississippi, in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh,
Jacksonville, Florida. And Carla was my daughter. She was small, a little agitated in church. A little agitated and upset, and so I take her to the back of the church just so she got there's all that space to run around. I'm playing, and she's playing. We at the Holy Convocation, preachers preaching, and a church sister inappropriately addresses me with some physical touch in the back of the church, and I said, "Get off me." And then after that, someone asked me literally, "Hey, can y'all go hang out with us?" I told him, I said, "Where you want me to put my family?" I said, "You want me to go upstairs, tell my family to go to bed so I can go hang out with you?" I'm not doing that.
Wow.
I'm not doing it. So at the Holy Convocation, y'all, okay. So now they calling me square and funny and crazy, but I'm not going to keep you happy just and to put my family in a situation.
Right.
And so you have to make, and people will try you. Y'all, and that don't happen, y'all. Come on.
Right.
That stuff don't happen. Yes, it does.
Yeah, all the time.
You have to make decisions. People in leadership, I'll never forget. I won someone's respect because I didn't do what they asked me to do. And it was one of our leaders came to me and going to pull rank, told me, he said this to me. He said, "I need you to go." We were in Dallas. We were in Houston. He said, "I need you to go with the young people to out to the park." I said, "All due respect, I have a meeting. I'm not going out there with the young people." He said, "I said, you go with the young people." I said, "No, I'm not going." And so he left me alone. Then he calls me later to preach a revival. I said, "No, I'm not preaching your revival. I've got to go with my son on a field trip." He said, "Tell your son you a preacher. And you need to come preach." I said, "I've already committed to my son that I'm going with him on this trip. I'm not coming with you. All due respect, I'm not going to disappoint my son to preach a message.
Jesus.
I'm not going to do that.
Dope. That's
And
dope.
so it upset him. But I went with my son. Now, about 10 years later, he calls me back. I go to this meeting and he says, wait a minute, is this your son? I said, yes. He said, he told my son, he said, I have the utmost respect for your dad. Because when other preachers would have come preach the message, your father decided to go on a field trip with you. And my son said, when did that happen? You didn't tell me. I said, I wasn't supposed to tell you.
Right.
That you didn't need to know none of that. All you needed to know was we going on a field trip together. So it happens. And you have to be able to. I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely, Bishop.
You gave all the tea.
I don't know. I don't know, Bishop Pulliam. You may have to be a honorary speaker at the national convention and preach that. that
to the whole body.
To the whole body.
My
Listen,
Lord.
but Bishop, you talking about spiritual wise. We're on the natural fathers, but can we talk a little bit about having spiritual fathers? Spirit, pastors that you look up to. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a pastor. It could be a deacon or somebody that you find to be a father figure. So Bishop Baldwin, can you talk about having spiritual fathers? Have a pastor having a spiritual leader that's older and wiser. That they can lean on as well.
I think that is important, again, to have someone that you can go to. The Bible tells us in the multitude of counselors there's safety. And you got to have the proper kind of mentor. You can't choose your natural father, but you can choose a spiritual father. And you know what characteristics you're looking at and what is admirable to you. So I've been blessed. I grew up in the Illinois State Council, and I call them my uncles, but my father had great men that he associated with, from Bishop Bell, Bishop Price, Bishop Wright, Bishop Bellamy, District Elder James Robinson, and others. There were others in that council that he was friends with. And the last remaining one is my current pastor and spiritual father, and that's Bishop J.E. Moore. He has watched me grow up. He entrusted me. And I'm gonna tell you something. As a father sometimes tests you to see if you're gonna do what you say. I remember when I was about 18, 19 years old. Brandon, I don't even know if you was born then, but this was back on Clay Street.
Oh no!
This is back on Clay Street.
I was born in the transition from Clay Street to
So he allowed me to paint his Saab. Remember, he used to have Saab cars. And he let me
Volvos.
Yeah. He would paint. He let me. I worked at for a fire truck manufacturer, and one of the guys that painted the fire trucks painted cars on the side.
Good question.
Bishop
David.
let me get his car painted, gave me the keys, gave me the money, told me to, and he did it, and I drove the car back to Joliet. And they said, "How you get Bishop's car?" What he did was he trusted me. He let me. He gave me a chance to prove myself. Now he's mentored me through my ministry after my dad was dead, after Bishop Wright was gone, Bishop Bell's gone. He has mentored me, and even now he still mentors me. I don't have no problem calling him up, and I call him Pop. I said, "Pop, such and such is such a case. How you think I should handle it? I think I should try it this way. What you think?" And if he says it's okay, now I'm gonna tell you something. He also will bust me out. And as a father, you got to be willing to accept that. One thing he told me one time, something was going on. He called me up. And I thought it was strange. He called me. Normally I'm calling him. He called me and he told me, "Leave it alone." I can't share all of the conversation. He said, leave it alone. I said, but he said, leave it alone. I said, but he said, leave it alone.
Oh, his voice got deeper. Okay.
I said, yes, sir. I said, yes, sir. And I left it alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Bishop.
Spiritual father said it. I shut up. Oh, it's done. Okay, fine.
Last week in the installation services, Bishop Gates spoke, and he made a statement that is impactful. It was very impactful to me as it relates to just his relationship with his spiritual father. And he comically went through the whole motion of having somebody call Bishop Nelson and say, I call you every week. I think that painted a picture for me in a few different ways. It reminded me that I always say this: every pastor needs a pastor. But since we're talking in terms of spiritual fathers, like, it reminded me that it's okay to need somebody else and to get somebody else's advice and opinion, especially someone who you respect their opinion, you value their voice, and you view them as a spiritual father. That's the first thing it showed me. And then the other thing it showed me is that fatherhood, especially as it relates to even natural fathers, is about communication. It's about not just communicating just to communicate, but it's about routine, what may seem mundane sometimes, communication. This, he said every week. I call him every week. And in my mind, I'm like, every week? Like, I don't want to talk on the phone that much to nobody. But my wife, I barely, I love my wife. It's like, talking on the phone is like we can talk about this whenever we see each other. Like, get off my phone. Like, I hate these phones. Like, stop calling me. Don't talk to me. But the thought process of talking to somebody on the phone like that was crazy to me. But again, it brought this whole thought process to me of the importance of communication, the importance of just making that time to engage with somebody on a routine basis is important.
Now, hold on, Gabe. First of all, we want to know, Darrell, welcome to the room.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
What's
to the
going on,
room. Glad
everybody?
that you can hop on with us.
We gonna hold you accountable in post lobby.
I was celebrating Father's Day with the in-laws, so
That's
had to keep the peace.
He learned from Adam. Blame it on somebody else.
I've been enjoying listening. I'm learning learning stuff. Not to cuss in front of my kids, and Brian over here putting his constituents on nap times. And come on,
go ahead, Drake.
I have a question. I've been pretty quiet the whole episode. I just wanted to let everybody get
now,
out.
Bishops, we get ready to prepare you.
Professionalism out the way.
Wait, hold on, Drake. Bishops, we're gonna let you know, and everybody that's part of the congregation know.
We are not responsible.
We are not responsible for what
Do not listen to them. Go ahead. I ask genuinely authentic questions that nobody else wants to ask.
Just remember, you asked this question.
Hear me
who his father is.
You know who his father is. Y'all's colleague.
The first question is: do y'all allow? I got two.
Okay.
The first question.
He's been holding this. Go ahead.
Do y'all allow saints? We talking about saints outside of your children to call you daddy?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Here we go.
We're going down this rabbit hole.
We going down this hole.
I thought we already did this, Drake.
Nah,
we already did this rabbit hole.
I have allowed them to. Yeah, I have allowed them to do it, but it's not something that I encourage. I don't try to kill a person because I don't know where their position is. But I always make it clear my children, as opposed to what I'm doing for someone else. But if they view me as that, like I just said, I call Bishop Moore Pops. you know, but I know that I'm not a Moore. So
now I've got several godchildren. Brandon's daughter's my godchildren, and I have several that call me Pop or other things outside of my three children. However, I don't ascribe that to the average church member. No, I think that you have to. Situations are different, you know. So to answer that question, now I'm gonna be honest. Daddy is a different term. That's
the context of the word, not the actual
term.
attribute of
No
having
diddy,
kids
no diddy, no
in
diddy.
Christ. I get that aspect, but Daddy, I've just heard this,
no,
and
no,
okay,
no.
so it makes you uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Very
There we
uncomfortable.
go. That's all I needed to know. And if anybody's listening, that's all you need to know. Stop doing
Jay,
Jay.
He said, "Stop doing that."
all right. Can I ask one more question?
Go ahead.
Dre had two.
I
Dre
had
got
two
another
questions,
question.
Gabe.
We need
I'm
to hear
trying
that
to,
other
I'm
question.
trying to intercept my
Hey.
time. I didn't let you talk.
I don't know how I feel about this.
The next question.
We skated by with the first one.
Question number two.
Number two.
Is, can you balance husbandry and fatherhood? Now that's a question for Sister Baldwin, my dear sister Kimberly. I think that's a great question.
Did you say can you?
Balancing.
Well, like
Can you
how
discuss how you balance husband?
Oh,
life.
how you do it? Okay, yeah.
Now
I'm gonna say you better balance it.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna get a little deep, I guess. When the Lord told them they were one, there were no children involved.
Yeah, I felt the anointing on that one.
When you look at in the Bible in Genesis, and he said the two shall become one. There were no children involved yet. And so then they got two children. Now, then they got two kids, and one killed the other one. You know, so they had family drama. But I think one of the biggest problems that we have, and I'm gonna be honest with this, is you let kids become one in your and get between husband and wife.
Wow.
And and that's something you want to pay attention to, because that can be a place where there's a rift in a marriage. And so you have to be able to address that in your marriage, because when kids grow up and they're gone out of the house, y'all still married. All right. And they got to develop their own families. And there are many couples that during that childhood age, they drift apart. Because you're raising children, you're working, you're paying bills, you become partners and no longer a married couple. And you better find a babysitter. You better know. I'm serious. You better know how to do date night. You better know how to do some other things while you're raising kids, because it's just as important as being a dad as it is being a couple.
Yeah. Right.
All right. And I think sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
I agree with it, because the question was husband and father. That's two separate roles.
Absolutely.
That's two separate roles that you have to play. And your children at some point is going to leave you. It's not if, it's a matter of when.
When.
Your wife, if you're still according to apostolic thoughts, you're supposed to until death do you part. And so you have to build, as Bishop Pulliam said, that's where you have to keep that. And truth be told, one of the worst whippings that I ever got. I know that's not politically correct. One of the worst whippings I ever got was when I tried to get between my mother and my father.
Ooh, you tried it, huh?
I tried. And let me explain how simple it was. I wanted a pickle out of the refrigerator. I asked my mother, could I have a pickle out the refrigerator? She said no.
My Lord.
I went to my father. He's on the couch, half sleep. You know how you half sleep and I asked him, and he was like, yeah, boy, get on out of here. Go. So I went and got the pickle because Daddy said I could have the pickle.
Oh, Jesus.
My mother came in while I'm enjoying my pickle, and she said, "I told you you couldn't have that." And I, with my dumb self, Dre, I said, "But Daddy said I could."
Oh, not but Daddy. Oh, Jesus.
So she goes and she says, I'm a junior. She says, "Jerry, I told that boy he couldn't have one." You would have thought that somebody stuck him with a pin for how fast he woke up and came off that couch. He asked me two questions. Did your mother say you could not have that pickle? Yes, sir. Did you come and ask me for the pickle? Yes, sir. That was all she wrote.
Amen.
That was all she wrote.
Amen.
So it was important that I understood that. Another thing that he did was, and again, these are examples, right? Yeah. Another thing he did, there's 7 of us, and when we were small, I'm the oldest. When on Saturdays, if she was working at the house, he would give her money and send her away, and he'd say, "Go shopping. Don't buy nothing for anybody but yourself. Spend time alone. Get away from the kids. I got them." And so he was doing that as a husband to make sure that she was taken care of from his husband's side. But he was at home with us as the father. So that's why I'm saying these are 2 separate roles that you have to play. And you have to be intentional about that. As Bishop Pulliam said, there has to be some date nights. There have to be babysitters. They have to, they may have to go over to grandma's house. They may have to go to auntie's house. And can you just give us 3 hours? Can you just give us a couple hours and spend the time together and build that marital relationship, just as you have to build that father relationship. That those are 2 separate roles. And nobody should get it twisted, especially the kids.
Dre, your wife calling you out there.
Bishop, you starting stuff. See, this is why I'm trying to look out for my sister Kimberly, and I got in trouble.
Bishop, and the other thing is the one part that I learned from you is don't lie on the wife, because it go from
into giving money.
It go from so your mother lying, and then it's the lessons that are taught.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, now you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. But I won't tell the story. But there was a situation where my father had to get on my head because I disrespected the women in the house, and as a father, he had to teach me a lesson and say men protect women. He said, especially when women are our family, we don't treat them any type of way. So
you didn't tell them about going down the stairs head
first. Well, since you said stairs, I'm gonna tell the story now.
Remember, we on Mark Zuckerberg's internet.
It's nothing bad, but he had to get on my head. I had talked back to my mother. I talked back to my mother, and it's all of us. When you get to that 15, 16-year-old stage, testosterone is high. You
smelling yourself.
You're smelling yourself.
The bishop push you down the stairs, Jay. Hey, this is a safe place.
He didn't push me down the stairs.
Jackie said send her a private message if you want to know what he's.
He didn't push me down the stairs, but as a father, he had to remind me of who the authority is in this household.
Yeah.
So
I gave you first shot.
No, hold on, I'm gonna get there. So
Jordan, it really was a movie.
I'm thinking bad.
Furniture in there.
All of a sudden, I think I didn't see it coming. Bishop, y'all see Bishop Baldwin. I knew that was Jerry that night in the Baldwin household. All of a sudden, I'm in the air. I don't know what happened. He got me, and I'm being dragged down the stairs through the kitchen into the basement. And I'm thinking
Oh,
like,
he didn't want no witnesses. He didn't want. He going to the basement on this one. We don't want no witnesses.
And what happened was he looked me dead and right in my eye. He said, "You think you a man? Throw the first punch." And I said, "I'm good." Listen, that drag down the stairs was enough for me. But the one thing the one thing I remember him saying straight to my face was, "Don't you ever disrespect my wife again." It wasn't your mother. It wasn't mom. It was, "Don't you ever disrespect my." But that taught me that it's wife first and then mother. So I learned. But then the next week he said, "Son, I wasn't really mad at you. I just had to teach you a little." You what do you mean you weren't mad? You had your eyes.
Tell that to these rug burns.
Now that should taught you another lesson, that he really didn't want to do that.
No, he didn't. But it's lessons like that, because he told me later on that there was something he did that my grandfather got on him, and I reminded him of what he did, and then he just couldn't do it. So because sometimes
Brandon,
you say,
get your wife, Brandon, get your wife.
And there were just some things that he said he got mad at us, but he didn't whoop us for it. Y'all know the Tom and Jerry is you ain't my baby. We downstairs watching Tom and Jerry having a good time singing it. He come out and say, "What y'all singing down there?" But then he tell us like, "No, I did the same thing when I was a kid." And my father, Bishop Baldwin Sr., that was a song back in the day that they had that wasn't spiritual. But it's lessons like those. You don't ever want to whoop out of anger. So that's one of the best lessons that I learned from him.
I guess we all learned a lesson today that you were the problem.
I already told y'all in the beginning.
Hey, Bishop went from Bruce Banner to the Incredible Hulk in 3.5 seconds.
All right. Final question for me, Bishop Pulliam and Bishop Baldwin, because I know you guys probably got to get out of here. How do you, when I look at both of you guys had the privilege, just like a lot of us, to have not only your father be your natural father, but your spiritual father at the same time. Going forward, what do you say to those PKs who are bishops or pastors now? What do you say to them in regards of making sure you tread that balance of fatherhood and being a spiritual father at the same time, and not letting one outweigh each other?
I think that Paul recommends that we be an example to the believer. And as I said, being a father, even being a husband, is a serious responsibility. And when things are serious, you approach it that way. There's a degree of carefulness that you have. I think that those men that I looked up to, obviously my natural dad, but even those that I look at as spiritual fathers, they take that responsibility very serious. It's not something that is an also ran. And I take what I'm doing in the body of Christ, what I'm doing with my family, as very serious. Sometimes they bring me stuff and they don't know it, but I'm praying, Lord, what should I say? How should I answer this? How should I deal with this? Because I want to do it right. I want to see the right results. It's not something that I take lightly and cast it away. So it's to me, again, it's very important. It's very important, and I seek God's guidance. Bishop Pulliam mentioned the prayer. I suggest all of us, and I believe we do, all of us maintain a healthy prayer life and continue to seek the Lord on these things, and get consult with people that have a little bit more experience than you, have been around the corner a couple times, have seen some things, because they become a valuable resource to you. to provide what you need. So,
Bishop Pulliam?
I'm going to have to say this and be very transparent. As coming up, there was something in me, and I didn't even realize then what God was doing, to a point where actually Bishop Moore is my pastor today. And that was not an easy transition that I had to make. And I mean, it was not easy, but it had to happen. And so I respect my father, have the utmost respect for him. But Bishop Moore is my pastor, and he could tell you I probably called him 3 or 4 times every week, because I understand we all need guidance. I don't care how old you get, you need guidance. But when it came to that, up until that point, if whatever my father said, that was it. And I'll say this: it wasn't until that situation that I was able to differentiate between pastor and father. I was always, that's my pastor first, not my father first. And because in my house, that's how things kind of functioned. And it wasn't until I had to make that transition, and now I have a father, now I have a spiritual father, and I can deal with both of them in different realms, and it's okay. And I think because it's difficult to have your father as your spiritual father, because sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, they don't know when to be different. And you have to give them that latitude, because they're so busy being pastor. Sometimes they don't know how not to be pastor, so I can be father.
Yeah.
And so now that they're separate, I called my dad today. He just wanted somebody to take him to Waffle House. That's all he wanted. Hey, take me to Waffle House. Okay, let's make sure he gets to Waffle House and get whatever he wants. And Bishop Moore is my pastor, and he's gotten on my head several times. Don't you do that? And one time I called him almost in tears, and he had no sympathy for me. He had 0 sympathy. I was like, man,
you done crying yet?
I was like, man. But it also taught me as a pastor and a father, I've got to know when to stop being their pastor and be their daddy. And that's not always easy, because it's in our nature to lead, and you got to lead your family before you lead your church.
That's good, Bishop.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm reading a book right now in my studies, and the title of the book, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm pulling it up real quick. But it's called Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that by?
The book is by Ruth Barton. And the book has this, and Soul Anchor, those that are watching right now are gonna hear this again. So I talked about it this morning, but the book talks about how oftentimes as leaders we get so fixated on our external skills, how we present ourselves and how we portray ourselves externally, that we forget that the true core of our leadership and who we are dwells within the core of who we are on the inside, in our souls. And I mentioned that while I was listening to Bishop Pulliam speak about just that dissonance between being pastor and father. The most effective leaders are the most effective folks who are able to do that type of thing, do that kind of code switch kind of thing, are those who recognize that what I am doing is not for, to be seen or to be, looked at as doing something great. And I love the transparency of sometimes you just don't know what to do. And that we seek deep within to our core, to our souls, to that place where you and God dwell for guidance and leadership as to what we should say and how we should say it, and what manner or what method we should address whether it's our child or whether it's a member of the congregation, whatever that looks like. That book has been really, really helpful in sort of lining up those kind of that dissonance that happens in all of us. And right now we're talking about fatherhood as it relates to, being a father or being a pastor, but really that could be anybody who lives in dual roles.
Absolutely.
How do we operate as a deacon at the church and then go to work and be the executive or the manager that we're supposed to be, and not blur those lines, because you take deacon to work and you might get fired. So how do you realize that this is not the place for that? Like that, compartmentalizing those types of things. So
that's good. Can I piggyback on what Pastor Evans is saying? In my family, in my immediate, with my siblings, in my mother, what we practice, and I also practice with my children, is when it becomes close to blurring those lines, we'll say, I'm coming to you not as a member, I'm coming to you as a family. And then sometimes they say, I'm not coming to you as the family member, I'm coming to you as the saint. So that kind of helps keep some of that, those lines from being blurred. Right. And it kind of puts you in the right frame of mind when you're trying to deal with certain things. So, the pastor's family has a unique thing as well. And you have to just keep working at it. Just keep working at it. Yeah. Keep challenging yourself, so that you get better at it.
I'm gonna tell you a story. At our church, we had a contest going on in Sunday school, and you had to be in attendance a certain amount of Sundays in a row. You had to do your homework. You had to turn it in. Your homework had to be 100%. And so my daughter made sure. She said, I'm winning this prize. I don't even know what the prize was. She was in Sunday school, didn't miss, hit everything they were requiring. That Sunday comes for them to win this prize. And actually, this was a Sunday that I had Aaron Porter was preaching for me that Sunday morning. And the Sunday school gave the prize to somebody who did not come to Sunday school every Sunday. And they didn't do everything. And my daughter Carla had done everything, A, B, C, D.
That sounds like Carla.
Listen, so I pick up Aaron and get him to church, and we're in my office. My daughter busts the door open, kicked it. Daddy, you they boss. She said, they work for you. Don't tell them they did me wrong. I'm going, oh God. and at that moment, I couldn't be pastor. In that moment, I just needed to be daddy.
Right.
And I hugged her, and I sat her in my lap, because she was gone. She was on 10, but I couldn't be pastor. At that moment, she busted the door open. Aaron Porter his eyes was huge. He was like, oh my God. But she was right. She was absolutely right. And I'm holding her and hugging her, and I'm going, God, what am I going to do with this situation? And so after I kind of figured, I told him, I said, y'all was wrong. And I said, the only reason you did it was because she was my daughter. I said, if you did it for if somebody else would have done the same thing, you would have given them what they were due. And so I had to navigate that, and you got to navigate that sometimes.
Now, Bishop, before we get out of here, just two more questions. But the one, Norm, can you put that question up? That past bishops, have you found it harder to separate roles of father/pastor for your children when they were younger, or now when they're grown?
It's different.
How so?
It's different because of them, because of their maturity level. Some things so? like what you just said. No. What you said is still difficult, but I'm saying they have the ability to process some things themselves. Like what you said just about Carla, you're dealing with a child mentality, and it's not fair. When you're dealing with an adult, it's still not fair, but they know things are not always fair, and they can process some things a little bit differently as well.
Interesting.
It's not any easier, but it's just different. I'll say it's different. You can reason with a person maybe when they're a little bit older, or you can hear their thoughts out, and they can articulate a little bit better. Carla, from your example, she just wanted what she wanted right now.
And she was right about it, though. She was right about it.
Yeah, and you know, it's the question is an excellent question.
Excellent.
But I just say it's not necessarily harder. It's just different. It's just different. Your approach may have to be a little bit different when they're older and they're grown. So that's all I'm saying.
I think that Bishop Baldwin is right. And the other thing is this: when you're a young leader, you're learning too. And
that's right, Jay.
Now throw this in: you're a young father, Pastor B, and a young pastor, and you're learning both of those roles at the same time. That's difficult. And as you grow older, you learn differently, and you treat people differently. You're going to make less mistakes. You learn from experience. Should teach wisdom. And so it is different. It is different.
Bishop Bell told me. Bishop Bell told me. He said, "Jerry, you're gonna tear up the church about 3 or 4 times before you get it right."
Thanks, Bishop.
I'm telling you what he told me.
I got a quick 2-for-1 question. So first question for both bishops: what's the worst whipping you given your child?
Oh, Lord.
Hey, you just heard one of them.
He didn't get no whooping. He just got shook up real good.
I didn't get a whooping.
I don't know why, but I love hearing whooping stories. They fascinate me.
I didn't really have to spank my children too often.
Because our mother did.
I believe it. I believe if you get them while they're young and train them while they're young, they understand. Sometimes all you have to do is look at them.
Yeah,
and they'll straighten themselves up.
That's the type of fear I want. Look,
it drives my wife crazy because like I'm the quiet one around here. I just kind of meander around, and I hear her say something, and the kids don't. She could have been saying, she said it 30 times,
right?
And I just walk by the room and just look. Be like, y'all got problems?
That is such an empowering feeling to have.
No. Say it with me. Mufasa. And Norm, the lower your voice goes, and the more calm you talk, the kids go, something neighbor, something. This is dangerous.
I tell you, like I can hear. My office is in our basement of our home, and I can hear my wife go back and forth with my oldest because he's getting that point in life. He wants to try to push boundaries.
Right.
So I hear it. So I start walking up the stairs real slow, and as he hears the steps get higher and higher, everything starts changing. By the time I get to that floor, he done run off and got back in shape again.
My oldest son has always been vocal, always. So he come home and I think he was in first grade, and we were getting ready for dinner, and then he said, "F you."
Whoa.
I said, "Excuse me." I said, "What?"
First grade.
And he has this huge smile on his face. He said, "Dad," I said, "F you."
Oh, Jesus.
And so my wife said, so I sat him down. I said, "Now, son, you have it. I know you learned." My wife goes, "He learned that at school, Jonathan. He learned that at school." I said, I know.
The rage just came.
But I mean,
I started sweating.
And so I sat him down. I said, "Now, son, you didn't learn that from me and mommy, did you?" He goes, "No, I didn't." I said, "So I don't want to hear you say that again." And he said, "Yes, Daddy." And went, didn't hear it no more. Next day he comes to school. He's from school. He says, "F you." And so I sat him down again. I said, "Son, I told you yesterday not to say that." I said, "That's not a good word. Remember, we've taught you good words, bad words." I said, "You don't hear that. We don't talk like that in this house." I said, "Some things you're going to hear in school, don't bring that home. Don't." I said, "Son, don't do that." And my wife said, he's learning that from school." And I said, I know where he's learning it. The third time, I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him no more.
Now we about to learn another one.
I said, "Let's go in the back, son." I said, "Come on."
Not the back.
I said, "Let's go in your room. Come on." And from that day to this one, I've never heard another curse word out of his mouth.
3 strikes and you out.
And I said it was a 2-for-1 question, so I got a couple questions for Brian. Brian, are we supposed to call you Pastor Brian now? As your brothers? I'm gonna just call you Brian. I'm gonna be rebellious. I love you too much.
I would appreciate it if you didn't change up today. That would you remain Dre forever. That would bless my heart.
And then the next question is, I've been trying to decipher your subtitle, "The Father's Pastor." Just explain it to me.
I won't, because it needs no explanation. Next question.
All right, that's all I got.
Man, Bishops, listen, we have had a good time with y'all today. Listen, in the
Wait,
comments,
we gotta know everybody's proudest father moment.
Oh, yes. Well, so we gonna go around. Bishops, well, you guys are the guests. We're gonna let y'all go last. But Brandon, what's your proudest moment?
Proudest father moment. Oh boy.
When my son loved Batman.
You're laughing, Norm, but he's got a chair and an action figure. So my proudest, probably my proudest moment would be when my children went to school and we had a parent-teacher conference. I got one of those whooping stories too, but I'll say that for another day. But we went to a parent-teacher conference, and my children go to a Christian private school. And so they still hear about God, and they have Bible, chapel, all this other stuff. But when we went to the parent-teacher conference, the teachers just tell us, we're so impressed with, your daughter and the knowledge that she has. She's teaching us stuff about the Bible that we didn't know. Nice. And that's probably one of my proudest moments, that what me and my wife are putting in our children is sticking, and they're getting it at a young age, and they're not afraid to speak, at the age that they're at. So that's probably my proudest one.
That's real good. Awesome. Gabe? Oh, hold on, Gabe. If y'all didn't know, my sisters are fighting in the chat. If y'all been watching the chat line, that's a debate. Every time we all get together, Dad just sits there and ignores everybody. But go ahead, Gabe.
We got to hear about the furnace room too in the church. That was a comment, but go ahead.
Oh my!
Too many questions.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I mean, it's just moments, man. I mean, especially with with both of them, I would say one of my proudest moments of them is just seeing their desire to build their relationship with Jesus. I mean, they too go to a Christian school, and that's something that my wife and I was very intentional on doing. But like, they're now excited, to learn about Jesus. They're excited to go to bed so they can pray and, have communication time, with Jesus. So I think those are pretty much just my proudest moments of seeing them really start to take it seriously, even in their, their infancy, for sure.
Pastor B?
Yeah. My favorite dad moment thus far was this barbershop experience I had with DJ a few weeks ago. So we was in the barbershop, and he had his glasses on, and the barber took his glasses off, and and set him up on the shelf. And BJ was like, you know, he wouldn't even sit still in the chair. He just kept looking around, looking at his glasses. And, you know, I was like, what is this boy doing? You know, he just kept looking around at his glasses. And then the barber was like, you know, your glasses okay? Your glasses okay? He was like, no, they're not okay. They're not okay. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, what is going on right now? Like, why is he tripping about these glasses? And so I just got up and got the glasses. And when I picked up the glasses, I put them in my pocket. And I was like, the glasses are good. And so he sat up in his seat, got back, got his hair cut. And so the barber just stood there for a minute. Like, you didn't think I could keep your glasses safe? And he said, no, only my daddy can protect my glasses. Right there, boy.
That a boy.
Yeah. Daddy got you.
That's real good.
That's good.
Norm?
Ooh, man, I don't know. I can't top that story. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I would say, I mean, I'll flip it a bit because my son, you know, I love my oldest is super amazing. My youngest is super awesome. I would say
that sound dirty, didn't it?
I would say to me, a moment that fills me with pride, honestly, and this is, I'm kind of flipping the direction on this, is when my son, my oldest, was born in the first place. The moment I first became a father. I mean, growing up in my household, my dad was kind of in and out. So to an earlier point that was made, I really didn't know how to be a father. You know, I mean, my mother was there and obviously had the mentors of the deacons of the church, but this was the moment, like, oh, you're a father now, and your wife is going into surgery because, you know, she had to have a C-section, and that's how it had to be. It's like, oh, and I'm just paralyzed with fear because I'm like, oh God, how do I handle this? All I thought about was everything that's changing. I ain't got enough money. The house is this and this is that, and I'm paralyzed. And it's like, man, this is weird. I don't know this feeling because both people that know me, I go. This was just unusual. And it got to the point the nurse was like, okay, well, maybe her mom could go in there with her and he'll be all right. You'll be okay, Mr. Steve. You'll be okay. And that snapped me out of it.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I got to get up in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran in there. I put the gown on. I sat down. I said, I'm ready. Okay, he's born now. I was like, wait.
Right. He's here. Okay.
He's here. And I sat down. And they had me, my son Nathan. I looked at him, and everything just happened. I knew it was gonna be all right.
It's something about holding them the first time.
Man.
It's a realization, man.
For real.
Yeah.
Dre, go ahead, man. What's your pride? I know you and me got the youngest out of all the kids. What's your proudest moment with Belle?
I guess, you know, everybody say the first words of a baby is dad, which for most people who's not a dad always gonna say that, you know, which is the mothers usually because they're jealous. But when the baby recognizes that you're dad, I think that's so far that's been my proudest moment. You know, when anybody say dad, she smiles and she crawls to me. And it's the best feeling ever, man. So that's my proudest moment, just being a dad. You know?
Mine is the same. You know, Levi at 1.5. I think my proudest moment is definitely. He said "mama" first. You know, my wife will egg that on forever. You know, he said "mama" first. You know, but when he started saying "dad," and I think now she realized she admits it now. I'm the fun parent. So whenever I leave for work and he sees me leave, she'll call and say, all right, your son is crying because you're not here. But then when I get home, he sees me, he comes running straight towards me and and comes and wants me to pick him up. So that really warms my heart to see that, oh, Dad's here. Now we can have fun. You know? You know what I'm saying? So
that's fun parents.
Yeah. Bishop Pulliam, you know, what's your proudest moment? I know you got 3 of them, so
I got 3, so so I'm glad y'all didn't let me go. So I can get them ready.
That's why I want y'all to go last, because y'all got 5 and 3. So
and I think, you know, and they're still giving me, honestly, all 3 of them are still giving me proud dad moments, and they're all in their 20s. But I think that one I can remember is when Josh went to Morehouse. My oldest son went to Morehouse, and he's a physics major. And he told his friends, he said, hey, you know, they were asking him to go out, they were asking him to do this, and you know, your children are away, they're gone. He told his friends, he said, hey, look, I'm not going out with y'all to the club, I'm not drinking. He said, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, I don't do that. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't get high. Don't ask me to do it. And he said, and we're gonna be cool. He said, but and if that's what you all choose to do, that does not mean I'm not gonna be your friend. He said, but don't ask me to do that. I'm not gonna do it, and we'll be okay. When he came home and told me that, I was like, yes.
Yeah. I put the foundations in you. Yes.
I was like, you're gonna be okay. Yes. And then Jonathan went to Tuskegee, and we were coming up. Jonathan's quiet. He sneaks stuff on you. He don't want to just drop it. He'll sneak it up. He said, Dad, and we were on our way. I went and picked him up from Tuskegee, which is South Alabama. And by the way, all of my children are HBCU. We're HBCU.
Okay.
Yeah. I love my B. I love my C. I love my U.
All of us. Tracy went to Spelman. I went to Morris Brown. All of us. We're HBCU family.
Yeah.
But Josh went to Morehouse, Jay Tuskegee, and now Carla's at TSU. But Jake, we're coming home, and he says, Dad, these kids, some of them, they haven't seen their father. Some don't know their daddy.
Yeah.
Some have. He said, and so they were asking me about you, and he said, I told him, I don't have a memory without him. I can't, you know, I can't, in other words, what he was saying was, I can't, every memory that I do have is with my father's home every day being there. He said, and I just didn't realize how important, and he said something to me today. He called me. He said, Dad, you're a great father, and I just want to tell you how I appreciate that. So they're still giving me great dad moments. And Carla has given me a whole lot of them. And I think the greatest thing is to watch them struggle. The hardest thing is to watch them struggle, not get involved in their lives, so they can come out and make the right decisions. And Carla is so gifted and talented. And so she's given me so many of them. I mean, and still is. So she called me today. I think she sent me $25. So I was like,
when the kids start sending you money,
Made it, y'all.
Pops.
Yeah, I guess I got the most. 5 of y'all fellas.
My Lord.
One thing that is awesome to me. Well, I'll give you a couple, and then I'll leave you with a funny one that is funny in our family. I'm proud for them to all have been filled with baptized in Jesus' name and filled with the Holy Ghost. So all 5 of my kids
That's awesome.
are workers in the church. I thank the Lord for that. And they graduated from college. They have their own abilities, and I'm grateful to the Lord for that.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really impresses me is that they have a siblings chat. I'm not part of the chat, but I walk through from time to time, and I notice them. All of them, they still talk to each other, and they still interact with each other. They still help each other. Even if they get upset with each other, they still work together. And so I'm proud of that they have that family bond and that family love. One of the funniest things that happened in our family that I still laugh about is that everybody knows Jackie Rose. can be a little bit.
Don't say little bit. Say a lot.
She's a little bit mouthy.
I'm so glad this is recorded on the internet.
I'm gonna be playing this back in Dallas.
So she did something to her brothers and sisters. She's the baby, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And Bubba at the time was at least about 270 pounds. Jeremy is a football player. Jordan is a basketball player.
I already know where you're going.
And she is talking to them and getting smart with them, and they got tired of it. And rather than fight and punch and all that stuff, they did something to her. So my wife and I are in our room, and we hear this boom, boom, boom. I said, "What is that?" Boom. So apparently they took Jackie and duct taped her legs, arms, duct taped her, put her in the basement, turned the light off, and closed the door.
No, that's
So,
hold on, wait.
And I just want y'all to know that he said that this is his proudest dad moment.
Listen. They could have fought. They took care of business.
Disclaimer. Dad,
They were resourceful, Bishop.
Exactly.
The same person, Jordan, that never does anything in the chat. It was her idea to tie her up. So me and Bubba were the biggest. So she said, "Y'all hold her down, and I will tie her up." So this was Jordan's idea. The same one that said never did anything to get a whooping. I'm just saying that. But
man, Jay telling on everybody tonight. Everybody said, "My Lord, just go get on me."
Hey, they told on him.
Nothing like family. Nothing like family.
All I'm gonna say is, Josh, be careful.
Joshua asleep. He got to go to work tonight.
But I think another my father hasn't said. I think another proud moment of his is also becoming a grandfather to three.
Absolutely.
That he loves like crazy.
Absolutely.
Loves like crazy. Listen, Bishop Pulliam, Bishop Baldwin, thank y'all for coming on with us, man. We appreciate all the wisdom and the knowledge of fatherhood. My sisters are still fighting in the chat, I believe. I don't know what's going on. They're probably gonna call me right after this. So, but we thank
just tell them to come on and air it out online.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen, we've been trying to get them on the show for so long, but they don't want to come on the show.
No, don't do that.
Who's that, Jackie and Jordan?
Yes, they got so much to say.
They'll take over your show.
That's right. It'll be their show. It will be their show.
It will be theirs completely. But thank y'all for coming on. We didn't get to one question why fathers. That could be another time.
You froze,
that's
Jay.
a whole different.
You froze up, Jay. We didn't hear the question.
And they stay talking about me freezing. Now you freezing. Now get your
I said the question that we didn't get to was why isn't Father's Day celebrated like Mother's Day? Because I didn't see it.
Wait a minute. No, we need to get to this question.
Huh? What'd you say, Drake?
We need to get to this question.
Nah, it'll take too long. You know, it won't take long, Bishop. Okay, Bishop. Look, why isn't Father's Day celebrated like Mother's Day?
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's nothing like a mother. There is nothing like a mother. And I don't think she doesn't. I'm sorry, Bishop Baldwin.
My name is Jerry. That's on the birth. That's on the birth certificate.
But he said it. He said something. Woman can't give life. The life comes from the man, but she got to carry it. She's got to nurture it.
Right.
She's got and feed it. She's got to watch her body change. She's got to feel all of these emotions. She's got to watch her body change while you eat and don't gain a pound.
Well, hold on.
I saw Trey face. He wanted to play.
Let me finish.
Dre, you ain't gained no weight.
I gained weight while she was pregnant.
She's got to go through all of these feelings and all of these emotions.
I had pregnancy weight too.
Lord have mercy. Go ahead,
but the truth is that they deserve it, and they deserve it.
They do.
So,
now,
Bishop, might I ask? This is why I didn't want to.
I'm going somewhere. This might answer your question.
Okay, I'll wait.
And if you do right, you get right.
Ooh, that's a word. I felt the word.
That was some double meaning.
That's a word there.
That's the
Give us on that one.
Right. I received that.
Someone hit the three. Someone hit the three on the organ. Hit the
Darrell right there. Darrell, go ahead, get the organ ready. I say get the organ. Bishop, you want to Baldwin, you want to piggyback off?
I can't add nothing. I can't add no take away from that. Mothers are unique, and they are special in the family life. I think that men and women should embrace what God has made them to be. And if we were reading that scripture in Genesis, created he them, male and female, and we should embrace that. Everyone always has a special place in their heart for mothers. And to tell you the truth, the father wants the mother to be elevated because they say, what did your mother say? Did your mother say this? Because he may be the enforcer, he may be the muscle, but mothers put so much into their family. I do have 5, but I see a lot of their mother in them. Each one of them have a unique characteristic of their mom. Yeah. They are very, very important. So
agreed.
I don't begrudge them anything, and I'm happy, just to know that I'm in my place.
Yeah,
that's all I care about.
And I think that's fair. I do. I think that's fair. And I think your responses were fair, and I'm just gonna leave that there for now.
I'm gonna tell you though, a good mother will make the children understand the value of their father.
That is very true.
Very true. That is very true.
I'm gonna tell you like an old preacher said. Father's Day was coming up, and he said, "I'm just gonna sing one song." He said, "Y'all, Father's Day's coming." He said, "We're gonna end service on this one." Remember my Lord, remember me, my Lord. We're gonna end on that note.
The reason why I celebrated more, Father's Day became a national holiday in 1972. Mother's Day was a holiday in 1902.
Wow.
So, it's a whole.
Well, I guess that's why Father's Day is ranked 22 in celebrated holidays. They've been around a long time.
Others want their credit. Fathers
want their credit.
They're ranked right after Jesus.
I think it was Christmas or something.
No, they're see them eat saints, right?
Christmas, Mother's Day,
Yep.
There you go.
Well, to that point, I'm gonna be honest. Too many of us fathers are absent, and so we do it to ourselves a lot of times.
Right.
I think what I struggle with there, though, is yes, there are many absent fathers, but if we look at societal statistics, we have just as many. It's not as publicized as much. Absent mothers in children's lives.
Preach.
And so I think if we start
Brian.
If we start comparing the two, it's where we get a dangerous place of making one more important than the other. And I think society has done a good job of helping us do that. and not viewing them both as equally important.
I said I've never seen a one-winged bird fly.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And I'm actually going to use that. So if you hear that again, just I'll give you credit. I'll cite my source. But
thank you.
He'll cite it the first time.
I love it.
The second time the Lord said it. The third time it's his the third time.
Bishop Baldwin, Bishop Pulliam, thank y'all so much. Hold on, when you teach the importance of a man, then you know the significance of the importance of a father. And I never let my children forget the importance of their dad. I celebrate him every time that I get and make sure my children do as well. That's good.
God bless you, woman of God. God bless you, woman of God.
Wonderful.
That's good. Bishop Baldwin, Bishop Pulliam, Pop, thank y'all for coming on with us, man.
Woo!
This was so rich.
This was an amazing episode.
This was a great episode.
Love you guys.
I'm gonna say our longest too. Yeah.
It is our longest.
It was good though.
I think it's good that it's our longest because like we said, we got to talk about the importance of fathers because, like Gabe said earlier in the show, social media, TV shows, they are really pushing the no fatherhood type.
Right.
Yeah.
Stereotype. So they're really pushing it. So I think the longer we talk about it, the more people realize how important a father is in the children's lives, spiritual fathers, how important it is to other people's lives. So, but Bishop Pulliam, Bishop Baldwin, before we end the show, our deacon, Deacon Norm, he always has a video that ends on the show. So, Norm, what we got tonight?
Well, it's Father's Day, and I realized on this call that we have a large number of preachers and people who know how to rightly divide the word of truth. They know how to bring forth, how to pick it up, and how to lay it down. I think it's great and wonderful. So, my one video that I'm going to show today, I just would like to know after I show this whether they agree or disagree.
Why do I feel like I need to step back?
No. It's okay. Don't step back. Just let me know if you agree or disagree.
On yesterday, that a good sermon is like a woman in a dress. It must be short enough to create interest. And it must be long enough to cover the subject.
I don't disagree with this.
I'm done. Bishop.
I have nothing to say. I have no comment.
Well, I'll say this. Jeremy's uncle has the 3-beat gospel.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I think that's what the preacher was trying to say.
3 B's.
Yep.
Be ready,
be ready, be brief, and be seated.
Be ready, be brief, and be seated.
Listen, man. Well, man, this has been another episode of the Church.
Wait. Hold on. Bishop Pulliam, do you agree or disagree?
No. I don't think Bishop Pulliam like that now.
Bishop Pulliam has no words.
I have no words.
I'm not touching this one. I'm not touching this one.
I'm gonna be honest. I got a lot to say, but this ain't the episode for that.
Part 2 coming soon.
Tune in the Church Nerds After Dark.
Look, I'm gonna be. And y'all might want to know what I need to say, but
meet us in post lobby. Meet us in post lobby.
It can't be worse than what Dre say. So you.
I know.
Listen, this has been another episode of the Church Nerds, man. Once again, I'm Jay Baldwin, Norman Heath, Dr. Dre, Pastor B, Darrell Walls, Elder Travis, Gabe Jordan, and our special guest, Bishop Pulliam, and my pop, Bishop Baldwin. We are the Church Nerds Podcast. We will see you next time on another episode.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Wow.
Man.
My
woman in the dress.